How racism was used to divide humanity.
Racism as a tool of division is bigger than just personal prejudice. It's a carefully engineered system that serves very specific purposes. Have racism as a tool to divide humanity. 1. Divide and conquer. Ancient strategy. Empires throughout history, Rome, Britain, Spain, US, etc., mastered the tactic of keeping people divided so they could never unite against rulers. By creating racial categories and hierarchies, they ensured people would fight each other rather than fight the system. Example: during colonization, poor Europeans and enslaved Africans in the Americas were starting to rebel together. Laws were then created to give poor whites privileges over blacks, land rights, militia service to separate them. This birthed modern race divisions. 2. Justification for exploitation. Slavery, colonization, and resource theft all needed a moral excuse. Racism was the myth that justified exploitation. One race is superior, civilized, and another inferior, savages, subhuman. Without racism, it would have been harder to convince entire societies to participate in or accept mass enslavement, genocide, and land theft. 3. Economic beneficiaries. Racism isn't just ideology, it's an economic system. Slavery built wealth. Free labor created massive fortunes. Colonialism extracted resources. Lands of black, indigenous, and brown people were drained of gold, silver, oil, crops. Modern inequality, racial divisions keep workers fighting each other for scraps instead of uniting to demand fair wealth distribution. In short, racism protects wealth by preventing unity among the poor and oppressed. 4. Political power. Racism keeps nations divided so elites stay in power. Leaders use fear of the other, immigrants, another race, another culture, to distract from corruption and inequality. Example: while people fight over skin color, politicians and corporations quietly pass laws, hoard resources, and concentrate power. 5. Psychological and spiritual warfare. Racism implants limiting beliefs into the subconscious. Victims internalize inferiority, I'm less than. Oppressors internalize superiority, I'm more than, which feeds ego and disconnects them from spirit. Both sides are spiritually trapped, one in shame, the other in arrogance. Result: humanity as a whole cannot ascend in consciousness as long as it believes in separation. 6. Generational trauma. The wounds of racism are carried in DNA, epigenetics, and culture. Oppressed groups inherit trauma responses: hypervigilance, fear, survival mode. Oppressor groups inherit guilt, denial, or superiority complexes. This keeps humanity locked in cycles of mistrust, resentment, and pain. 7. The spiritual deception. From a higher perspective, racism is an illusion. The soul has no race, only incarnations with different experiences. But by focusing on skin color, humanity is distracted from its oneness. Racism serves as a spiritual prison, keeping people stuck in 3D consciousness instead of realizing their shared divine source. Who benefits? 1. Elites and ruling classes maintain control by keeping the masses divided. 2. Corporations and economies profit from cheap labor, inequality, and exploitation. 3. Religious political institutions justify wars, colonization, and dominance. 4. Dark spiritual forces, if you see it esoterically, feed on the fear, hatred, and suffering generated by racism. Dash the deeper truth. Racism is not natural. Children don't hate until taught. Racism is engineered programming designed to weaken humanity. Once we dismantle it, humanity will no longer be divided, and unified humans are unstoppable. In summary, racism is one of the greatest illusions and weapons used to divide humanity. It separates us politically, economically, and spiritually, keeping us distracted and weakened. But in truth, race is just a costume. Humanity is one soul expressing in many shades. Would you like me to expand even further into the spiritual, energetic layer, meaning how racism feeds off energy, and why certain forces benefit from keeping humanity in that low vibration?